So after truss rod, we're going to check the string action. So string action is anything from the 12th fret on. And then this little handy dandy gadget here, you're probably not going to be able to see this. It's so small.
Yeah.
This is a mechanics rule. It's measured in 64ths of an inch. So you have to make sure you get 64ths of an inch. That's what I use. Some people use millimeters. I don't really like millimeters. I find I can just get such a finer adjustment with 64ths. So I got this for like $5 at just a hardware store, or you can get it online. Very cheap. Yeah, as long you just want to make sure it has 64ths. So after you set the neck, you're going to hold it in playing position. Let's see if I can do this here. Hopefully. Yeah, we can do that. Hi, camera.
Talk show view.
So I'll actually put it in the playing position at this point. And what you're measuring, so you're going to go to the 12th fret. You're going to take the bottom of the ruler, and that's actually going to sit on the top of the fret. Not the fretboard, the top of the fret. And then you're going to measure the bottom of the string. So the top of the fret to the bottom of the string. That is your string action. So here's the tricky part. There's no magic number. There's nothing to aim for. I can give you my starting point, but it's going to depend on the tuning, on the player, how much neck relief you have, the string gauge. All that plays into where you're going to set your action. So generally, people like it lower. It's just more comfortable. There is a point where it's going to be too low, and you're going to get a ton of buzz. Once you hit that point, you can't go any lower than that. So I always start with the lowest string, work my way down, and I set the lowest string to 5/64ths of an inch. So if you're looking at the ruler, there's like a big line at 4/64ths, and then the small one above that. That's what I hit. I find that seems to work pretty much universally. If it's a stupid low tuning, like if you're going lower than B and you have like a 70 gauge string, I'll tend to put that at like 6/64ths and try it at that. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so I'll start with that, and then the next string I will also do 5/64ths. The next string I'll also do 5/64ths. Once you hit the G, I'll drop that down to 4/64ths, and then the two high strings I'll put to 3/64ths. So just to repeat that, starting with the low string, 5/64ths, 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 4/64ths, 3/64ths, 3/64ths. That's just a starting point. Don't feel like you have to get your guitar set up to that. Some guitars just won't play like that. You might have to have the higher strings higher in the action. Just kind of depends on the playing style.
The cool thing too about learning to do some of this stuff yourself is then you can like make adjustments and see what works for you.
Yeah, that's the nice thing, because a lot of big shops, I mean, they just charge. I've seen as high as like $100 for a setup, which is
Absolutely.
like so ridiculous. Especially if like all you need is just a little action adjustment or whatever. Like that's something you can do on your own, and it's not going to break your guitar. Super easy to do. But yeah, so that's the numbers I start with. Feel free to experiment with that. Like I said, it's going to depend on your tuning and all that stuff. So the way to adjust that, once you get your measurement, you're going to take your Allen keys. It's going to depend on the guitar. I can't give you a specific size. Some of them are like super tiny. If you have a Floyd Rose guitar, you only have 2 posts that you can adjust. In that case, I just adjust the 2 outside strings. It's already set to like a curve. But this specific guitar has individual string adjustments, which I love. That is my favorite. It's just so much easier to dial it in and get it perfect. But this one looks like it's a pretty tiny, maybe 1.5 millimeter. It's a super tiny Allen key, but all you're doing is raising and lower it, measure it, adjust, retune it, blah blah blah, rinse and repeat. That's pretty much all there is to adjusting in action, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only weird one you're gonna run into is the Floyd Rose, which you just have 2 posts right here.
Yeah, if you guys want to see what that is.
Yeah, I can show you guys real quick because I get a lot of questions on Floyd Roses. That's a whole. Here we can just swap. Yeah, we can do a whole live stream on Floyd Roses one day because that actually is my expertise. But here, I'll get this to the camera. So you have these 2 posts right here. That's the only thing you can really adjust action-wise. So you'll raise and lower it that way. It's actually a 3. That one is a 3mm Allen wrench. It's always going to be 3mm. One quick note on Floyd Roses. Floyd Rose users out there. Nobody ever talks about this. This is super important. And it's going to be very obnoxious. But do not adjust these under string tension. So preferably completely loosen all the strings, take the springs out and take this off, and then do your little adjustments. I know that is super obnoxious. Trust me, I understand. What happens though when you turn this under string tension, you'll actually damage the knife edges and then it won't stay in tune as well as it should.
It's worth it.
I've never heard anybody talk about this, and I see professional techs doing this. Do not do that. It'll immediately ruin the Floyd. So yeah, it'll have a hard time going back to the 0 point. So I know it's super obnoxious, but Floyds are obnoxious. So you know that's why we use them. Though.
I remember before that one tour, you were a little bummed to install a brand new one.
Man, yeah, Floyds. I love them so much, but man, adjusting them is just not fun. The nice thing though is once you get a Floyd Rose set, you don't have to ever adjust it. Rarely, but yeah, that's pretty much all there is to action. So that's gonna play hand in hand with your truss rod. So you're gonna kind of be bouncing back and forth, over a couple days even. So and every time you change your tuning and string gauge, you want to check both of those things. So just something to be aware of. So cool. Any questions so far? Okay, sweet. Hope everyone's learning something new. Yeah, I've never done one of these live streams before, so I appreciate everybody being patient with me and
being patient.
like I said, I really wanted to script this out, but there's just so much to this.
Yeah.
It's just like, I mean, we could literally be here for hours. So
Absolutely.